ahead on DC News Now at 4. Some snowflakes on your Friday. Meteorologist Damon Matson is tracking the timing.
A federal judge orders the release of Kilmar Abrego Garcia after 9 months of legal back and forth. We're breaking down what her decision means and what comes next.
For the first time, defense officials addressing Congress about the deployment of the National Guard across the country. That's next. And all is merry and bright at this Northern Virginia home. We speak to a family about their show-stopping Christmas tradition. Buying big-ticket items can come with a hefty price tag. We're stretching your dollar with ways to save before you whip out the credit card.
You're watching the station covering all of the DMV. This is DC News Now.
Thanks so much for joining us on DC News Now at 4. I'm Haley Mylon in for Mark Hall and Annalisa Gale today. First things first, Damon Matson in the Weather Center with a look at our forecast. And Damon, we're calling this a festive forecast here.
Trying to look on the bright side, Haley. Absolutely. I know this cold, this wind that has not given us much of a break this entire month of December. Well, it's back here on this Thursday. It's been with us throughout the entire day. And down the line, we're talking about the chance for some snowfall. Now, snow is not a concern as we wrap up the day today, but here are those gusty winds that still have not let up completely. We're only noticing wind gusts now around 25 miles an hour across most of the area. We're seeing a few peaks up around 30 miles an hour near Baltimore and, of course, out toward the higher terrain of western Maryland. But overall, the wind is starting to back off, which means these frigid wind chills that we've been dealing with throughout the day, they'll start to back off as well. It's feeling like 20 because of the wind in Cumberland, Hagerstown, 24 Leesburg and Frederick. And that wind chill has been hovering right at 30 degrees in D.C. all afternoon. Now, the wind may be backing off, but that does not mean it's going to stop being cold. Temperatures, they are expected to drop as we head into the night back down below freezing as cloud cover begins to increase. And we're seeing more clouds returning to the area because the next Clipper system is on its way for tomorrow morning, bringing some light snow, but not for everyone who is most likely to see those flakes tomorrow. We'll have a full look at your forecast coming up here in just a bit.
Damon, thank you. We'll talk to you in just a few moments. Developing this afternoon, a federal judge ordering the immediate release of Kilmar Abrego Garcia. He is the Maryland man wrongly deported to El Salvador earlier this year. Now, this comes after 9 months of legal back and forth and several weeks after a tense hearing between the government and Abrego Garcia's lawyers. The Department of Homeland Security condemning that decision and promising to fight it in the courts. We find DC News Now's Randy Bass at the Federal District Courthouse in Greenbelt. Hi, Randy. You're here to break down the judge's decision. So what comes next here?
Yes, we are still awaiting his release now several hours after that opinion came down from Judge Palazinos earlier today in her decision calling Abrego Garcia's detention over the last 9 months troubling, saying the government has to immediately release him from ICE custody without an official order of removal. The scene today outside of a Pennsylvania ICE facility where Kilmar Abrego Garcia has been detained. Maryland District Court Judge Palazinos ordering Abrego Garcia's immediate release in a 31-page decision today, saying that without an official order of removal, quote, his removal cannot be considered reasonably foreseeable, imminent, or consistent with due process. Although the respondents may eventually get it right, they have not as of today. Thus, Abrego Garcia's detention for the stated purpose of third country removal cannot continue. The decision comes after his initial deportation to El Salvador by mistake this past March, before he was returned to the U.S. only to face human smuggling charges in Tennessee. There he was released under bond conditions before he was taken right back into ICE custody over the summer. Since he's been detained, the government says it's made efforts to deport him to several African countries. His deportation held up in the courts as the Trump administration and Abrego Garcia's lawyers argued over whether that final order of removal for Abrego Garcia actually exists. Today, Judge Palazinos says no, it doesn't, and without it, he has to be released. The White House saying today it'll keep fighting this case in the courts.
He is a proven gang member. The administration has evidence of that. And as you saw from the Department of Homeland Security, they issued a statement saying they'll continue to fight this legal battle in court.
Reporter Zach Schoenfeld from The Hill has been following the legal limbo in the case.
This is now a major development. Kilmar Abrego Garcia, ever since he was put back in immigration custody, has been fighting for this day, saying that the U.S. government has no lawful reason to detain him. So this is a major win for him now, getting released immediately from ICE custody.
As for what comes next in this case, the government has been ordered to notify his lawyers at least 4 hours before his release. They're also ordered to notify the court of the status of his release by 5 p.m. today. So in less than an hour, we're expecting to see some documents appear on the docket here. We'll be monitoring that very closely. If and when Abrego Garcia is released, he's still subject to bond conditions set in that criminal proceeding in Tennessee. He can go back to home detention here in Maryland. In Greenbelt, I'm Randy Bass, DC News Now.
Randy, thanks. We'll talk to you soon. A roller coaster of a case there. Well, Homeland Security is investigating after an attempted hit and run. U.S. Park Police say they went to pull over a reckless driver, but the driver sped off, hitting a pedestrian in the process. And that pedestrian was rushed to the hospital. They're expected to be okay, but that driver was taken into custody. And new today, a D.C. man sentenced to 16 years in prison for drug trafficking. Prosecutors say that 30-year-old Trayvon Palmer was a part of the violent D.C. drug trafficking crew known as 21st and Vietnam. Prosecutors say that Palmer worked to distribute 400 grams or more of fentanyl. Palmer pled guilty in September to drug and gun-related charges, and they say the crew mostly operated out of Northeast D.C., distributing drugs such as crack cocaine and fentanyl. And this morning, a passenger at Dulles Airport was injured. Metropolitan Washington Airports Authority says around 9 a.m., a person entered the baggage claim delivery system, which they're not allowed to do. They then got stuck there. Authorities freed the person and took them to the hospital. It's currently all under investigation. Today, for the first time, members of Congress questioning key military personnel over the deployment of the National Guard to cities across the country, including right here in D.C. Our Marielle Carbone is live on Capitol Hill right now. And Marielle, this comes 2 weeks after 2 Guards members were shot here in D.C. One of them died, the other one fighting for his life in the hospital. What are lawmakers saying today?
Well, Haley, that shooting certainly a focal point today. We know that the National Guard has been here in D.C. since August when the president issued a crime emergency. And today, members of Senate really debating the legality but also the morality of this deployment.
Why is this administration so focused on turning our military against Americans here at home?
In a sometimes tense Armed Services Committee hearing, senators digging in on exactly why members of the National Guard are being deployed in U.S. cities.
Don't tell me it's normal to have National Guard in L.A., Portland, Chicago, D.C., Memphis.
Americans must know that they can walk home at night without fear of being attacked.
In the district, 2,780 Guard members are currently deployed. The numbers fluctuating since August, but hitting an all-time high this month after 2 Guard members were shot ambush-style downtown on November 25th. Army Specialist Sarah Beckstrom died from her injuries. Staff Sergeant Andrew Wolf is recovering.
The D.C. deployment has been the subject of a litigation. And
Senator Tim Kaine honing in on a November ruling by Judge Giacob, who said the deployment in the district is illegal.
But if this legal order is upheld, and these were unlawful missions, these individuals shouldn't have been here. They should have been celebrating Thanksgiving with their families at home.
But military officials say there is precedent for a president deploying the Guard.
There's lots of examples over the course of the nation's history.
Democrats and Republicans at odds.
These deployments come at the cost of mounting billions of dollars and at reports that it hurts troops' morale.
But it would not be necessary if state and local officials were helping get criminal, illegal aliens and violent repeat offenders off the streets.
And there were various numbers thrown around estimating the cost of these deployments. One of them about $410 million. Haley, as far as the lawsuit happening here in D.C., the Trump administration is challenging the judge's order that the deployment is illegal. It has until January 9th to file a response with the judge. Reporting live from Capitol Hill, I'm Marielle Carbone, D.C. News Now.
Hefty price tag there, Marielle. Thank you for that reporting. Developing now, the 22-year-old man accused of murdering conservative activist Charlie Kirk appeared before a judge today. That's Tyler Robinson. He's charged with aggravated murder and felony use of a firearm. Now, today's hearing centered around how much access media would have to the courtroom during his trial. Law enforcement and Robinson's attorney are pushing for a camera ban in the courtroom. His legal team says that media exposure of such a high-profile case could interfere with his right to a fair trial.
As we're moving forward today, I want to give an overview of what we anticipate doing. Is the state's motion to amend or clarify the publicity order, commonly known or referred to as the gag order.
Now, media presence at Utah hearings is already limited, with judges often designating one photographer and one videographer to document the proceedings. Prosecutors have said they plan to seek the death penalty in the case. And meantime, in D.C., the intersection of 16th and H Street, formerly known as Black Lives Matter Plaza, could soon be transformed into the Charlie Kirk Plaza in honor of the late conservative activist. South Carolina House Republican Nancy Mace introduced a bill that would dub the intersection the Charlie Kirk Freedom of Speech Plaza. And check it out, right in front there is Santa Claus. Here he comes. He's in the red. He rolled out with the Prince William County Police today. They made their rounds across the county, spreading holiday cheer and reminding everyone to travel safely this holiday season and to look out for pedestrians and other friends like deer who may wander out at night in search of Santa. A Maryland woman found competent to stand trial in the alleged murders of her 2 children. We've got reaction from legal experts coming up. And a light show in Virginia like no other. We're going to introduce you to one family that could win a national title. And then buying big ticket items can come with a big price tag. We're going to stretch your dollar with ways to save before you whip out the credit card. You're watching DC News Now at 4, covering the news where you live all across the DMV, and we'll be right back with more news and weather after this.